Gotta get out of here, which is where? How do you get out of here?
Okay, stream's over. Fuck this game. I'm done. I'm done. I hate this. This is fucking stupid.
All right, and welcome to what is it, episode 4 now
Yes, sir.
of the Game Boys podcast. In this podcast, what we try to do is it's our quest, if you will, to entertain you guys, give you little tidbits on gaming, just our thoughts on gaming. And I'm James, and as usual,
I'm Will.
there's Will.
What's up, y'all?
We're going to talk about some interesting topics today.
We're straight from the south talking about gaming, yo.
Representing some games, representing nerds everywhere.
So, as always, we should probably start out talking about our
streams.
Yes,
our,
thank you.
Wheel
Our
spin.
streams. Yeah.
All right.
So how about I take it first this time? Because I did not have a great experience with mine.
Fail.
Fucking. It combined two of my least favorite things, and I'll get into it. So I had to play the game Loot River. Loot River is a roguelike game where basically you're crawling through a randomly generated dungeon.
It's actually a river, but yeah. It's a river.
It's a dungeon with river, yes, sure.
No, literally you're floating on the river.
Yes, but
a
you're going
river.
under into a dungeon. That was the whole elevator scene. Anyways.
Still floating down a fucking river.
Anyways.
Ish.
When you die, your character strats restart, and the only thing you keep are what they call modifications. I thought that part was real cool, the keeping the modifications thing. I was like, cool, okay. What really started to bother me about the game is it also has a puzzle aspect to it. So, I was playing on the Xbox, and you use your left joystick to move around. And then you get on platforms that are in the middle of the river or lake or whatever it was in the dungeon. And you would move the platform or platforms, and they'd come on all different shapes and sizes with the right stick. So often while I was in combat against some enemies, I'd find myself accidentally knocking the joystick, move me closer to a horde of enemies or move me away from the enemies in general. Not to mention, to attack, you have to hit the bumper. The right bumper, which was weird to me. It might have been because I'm not used to playing those kind of top-down games like that. And, it was fun at first. I thought, first level was cool. Second level started out real interesting. It introduced like the lower and upper layers. The lower layers was blue, the upper layers were green. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It adds more to the puzzle aspect. And that was all fine and dandy. It's when they started adding enemies that would like teleport you or prevent you from killing other enemies. And I don't know any other names or anything like that. The only enemy's name I learned was called Mushroom Top, and I only learned that through one of the modifications I got. And basically, the enemies will the one enemy would make a round bubble around the all the other enemies and would prevent them from getting hurt, and you'd have to target that enemy. The problem with that is you'd be attacked by all the other enemies and stuff like that. And it doesn't help that I am not... What's the best word to put this? I don't like dodging. And I don't particularly care to... Well, okay. I tried parrying because you actually brought to me in stream. It's like, can you parry? And I was like, It mentioned it once, but it never told me how to do it.
You push
you
B.
actually, yeah, you looked it up. And when I tried to parry,
it's timing. It's always timing sensitive.
Okay.
No matter what game you play,
I figured out when you're supposed to parry. It's the little red lines that come above your enemy's head, but it only seemed to work like 50% of the time, if that. Like it didn't seem very consistent, and that totally could have been on my part. But needless to say, I didn't get very far. I got frustrated. Game kind of pissed me off. Just because I'd get surrounded, or I'd get to the enemies where I couldn't kill the other enemies, or for the one boss, he just teleports onto whatever platform you're at and would like one-shot me, and that kept pissing me off. So, needless to say, I will not be returning to Loot River anytime soon. And I'd like to point out, I'm not the only person who had frustrations with this game. It had very bad reviews.
That's great, William. Are you ready for me to give you hell for this?
Sure, go for it.
All right. From the very start, your attitude toward that game was so fucking shitty. As soon as we did the wheel spin and we looked up the games and you realized yours was a roguelike, you're like, oh, I'm already going to fucking hate it. I can already tell you I'm going to hate it. And you carried that attitude to your fucking stream.
Nah, when I started playing and I was like, okay, cool, this is cool. The platforms move and everything like that. I was enjoying it for a while. It was until I got, to that point where the enemies were fucking stupid that I started getting pissed off.
Was the enemy stupid, or was the fucking player playing the game being fucking stupid?
No, the enemy.
I kept telling you, you're being too aggressive. You're like literally hacking while they're beating the shit out of you. That's stupid. Move. Get the fuck out of the way. Don't say, oh, I can't dodge. I don't dodge. I never dodge.
No, I was dodging though too. You can watch. You can go back in the stream and watch.
No, you're like this. You're like hack, 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 hack. Even though they're like whoosh with that big ass thing that they had. Like,
oh no, those enemies
get out of the fucking way.
Those enemies never gave me problems because I've realized I can kill them before they can even attack because they're slow attackers. Those never hit me.
Except but it doesn't matter. Every enemy you came up to, you're like hack, 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 hack. Like that's the only fucking thing to do is to hit them.
Well, yeah, half the enemies
bothered to fucking try to get out of the way. You never fucking and then you're like, oh,
watch
this. This bullshit.
You didn't fucking watch because I was dodging.
I did fucking watch.
Obviously not because I was dodging.
No, you're dodging randomly with no fucking real meaning. But then as soon as you run up to an enemy, the first thing you're doing is whacking away like
and then dodging their attacks.
You're all defense when you don't need to be, and then you're all offense when you should probably pay attention to what the fuck the enemy's doing too.
Nah, you're wrong.
But that's not all. That's not all that pisses me off about how you played that game. I suffered through fucking 4 hours of Siphon Filter, and you fucking stream for 45 minutes and get mad and quit.
It was 2 hours.
Was not.
It was. I can look that up. Or was it an hour?
I was still awake. Which was amazing because it was already past my bedtime, and I figured, I was going to miss half of this shit. No, man, fuck that. I was awake in time to hear you say, oh, fuck this, I ain't playing shit no more. Or whatever you said. It
was an hour and a half at least. Because I remember saying, I was like, all right, he told me to at least play an hour and a half of these fucking games.
I said 2 hours, but yeah.
I said, I'm going to make it to at least an hour and a half. I'll suffer that long.
I spent more time. Well, we haven't talked about my stream yet, but I spent more time stuck in one area of what I streamed than you did for the entire fucking stream.
You were losing everything every time you fucking died, though. That's what really pissed me off.
I was hooing?
You weren't losing everything. You were dying every time like I was. I lost everything every fucking time. Yeah, and you don't like those types of games. You mentioned
I don't, but I guarantee you I gave it more of an effort than you did. As soon as you decided you didn't like it, that was it. Oh, I don't like it. Fuck it. I'm not doing it. That's William's attitude. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you didn't already hate it before you fucking played it.
I did not hate it before I played it because I enjoyed it while I was playing it, and then it got frustrating. And I said, fuck this.
You said it's a roguelite. I already know I'm not going to like it.
I mean, yeah, I don't like roguelites in general, but I still was like,
hate it.
I still enjoyed the part that I enjoyed. You can't tell me there's games you go in like, I don't think I'm gonna like this game. Or okay, how many times have you picked up a Dark Souls game because you don't like them?
I don't pick them up. I have played them. I've tried them, and they're all the fucking same. And I still would probably played it longer than you.
Or everyone says that Elder Souls is great and it does the Dark Souls things better, but you haven't played it. You refuse to play it. I offered to buy it, and you wouldn't play it.
Same. You didn't offer to buy it.
Yes, I did.
You can buy. You're a grown ass man. If you want to buy a fucking game, buy it. Don't wait on me to like give you permission. You're fucking 20 what?
3.
23, not 15 or some shit.
I mean, the only reason I really wanted to play is because you can play multiplayer. I don't want to play alone.
I don't want to play fucking Souls-like games. I didn't put Souls-like games on our list.
Yeah, that's fair.
And mostly the reason I put Loot River on I think it might have just ended up on your list, but just because it looked more like platformery than. I mean,
yeah, no,
and in fairness, you're not giving me much to put on your list because. So I don't know what fucking percentage of Game Pass games are going to end up being roguelikes and roguelites because they seem to really fucking love them. I don't know why.
It's like an indie thing.
I don't want to put 5 fucking games on your list just so that I know you'll actually play them when your fucking chance comes. I mean,
so no, it wasn't.
And I wasn't trolling you because I fucking must have trolled myself with Siphon Filter because that fucking game.
No, I mean, I definitely don't blame you for putting it on the list or anything. You didn't know. You haven't played it. You didn't know I don't like those kind of games.
Doesn't matter though. I mean,
I don't expect you to take them off either. But it was part of the frustration of I hate fucking puzzle games and I hate I'm
not a fan of puzzles. I don't hate all puzzles. I'm not a fan of roguelites. I'll give you that. I'm sure there's some on my list too. Believe me.
It's the whole combination of both. I could probably handle one or the other at a time. But that was frustrating me. And then the whole roguelike thing was just,
So even though we haven't talked about it, do you not think I was fucking frustrated for what you saw of my goddamn stream?
I definitely would have quit from where you were.
Everyone was saying, "Oh, let's take bets on when James is going to fucking quit." That's fucking retarded.
I didn't. I watched them say that. I was like, "Nah, he's probably gonna have to go to bed before he's gonna want to quit."
Yeah, I was starving. I hadn't ate yet either, and that shit was like 4. I streamed that shit for 4 hours, but I refused to quit till I got past that spot, which we'll get into. So.
No, if it was as simple as I would have respawned, in an area I was already at instead of having to start from level 1 again, I probably would have still played. Like I said, I was having fun. It was just getting frustrating, and I wasn't making progress, even with dodging, because I totally was dodging in the right areas, and I was trying my best to. Another thing I did.
Have you not watched previous episodes? I'm just gonna fucking play. I'm gonna record parts of your stream and put the shit on.
You're gonna nitpick the parts I didn't dodge, even though there were parts I was
I don't ever
strategically dodging.
It takes too fucking long. I literally just start somewhere and end somewhere.
All right, well, whatever.
As long as you fucking truly dodge, like when it makes sense, not just randomly fucking dodging.
So, one thing I did start doing that I thought I was pretty smart for was if there were multiple enemies on a platform and I take my platform. No, I take my platform over and only get like half of them on my platform and move my platform away, so it'd be easier for me to take them out.
So one of the things I read about that game before you played it was you're supposed to use the what do you call that shit? Strategy of it is to use the platform and connect them like you would fucking Tetris. That's why they're shaped different. Every platform is shaped weird.
I was doing that.
So like, if it's like L-shaped, you hook to another one that's like L-shaped, and you have a better like fight.
Yeah,
better chance fucking for strategically like taking out your enemies versus getting swarmed by an ass load of them at once.
I was definitely trying to do that in some areas, but I found it easier just to get half of them on a platform, like take your L platform, and we'll call it a C platform. I would connect it, get like 3 of them on there out of like 6, move away and kill those 3. And most of the time they were little black enemies that just took 1 hit, so they're not much threat unless you get hanged up by them.
No.
There were a few enemies that were just 1 hit, and I would definitely go in and just swing at them because I'm probably going to get hit once and kill 4 enemies at the same time, or not get hit at all. And like I said, the big enemies, I could hit them 3 times, which is enough for me to kill them with the weapon I was using before they could even swing once.
Well, I don't know if it was a big enemy necessarily, but it was some fucking enemy. I kept seeing you just go in.
There was this
and he would whack the shit out of you because he had like a long stick.
There's this one enemy in the second level that had this sword, or maybe it was a spear. I'm pretty sure it was a fucking sword.
Yeah, it looked like a stick. This dude, the one I'm talking about, had maybe
I know which one you're talking about.
Fucking,
I know who you're talking about.
But he wasn't that slow with it. But every fucking time you would be like whack, 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 and he would just hit you and fuck you.
It might have been the boss because I was really aggressive with the boss when I had potions and shit. But no, there was an enemy with like a sword that like he would thrust it forward and it would extend and hit me from like, if I don't know how it's based, but like say it's the grid based game, it felt like it would have been like 8 grids away.
So he had reach.
Yeah, he had really good reach. I'm like, I can't fucking do anything against you except get close or I'm not going to kill you. And there was a point where I found a weapon that did projectiles, and that didn't fucking help at all because it takes up your mana and it just ate through mana too fast.
Did you have like stamina in that game? Like
No.
You couldn't swing because man, you come in like you fucking.
No, you didn't have anything like that, but you had mana for certain weapons and certain abilities. And one of the abilities was like to turn invisible, but it was connected to whatever weapon you were holding. And it was like the beginning weapons had it. I knew that off the top of my head, but you simply drop those as soon as you find a better weapon immediately. Because it's just damage is better. And you would level up while playing too. But that would get reset if you died, which was really frustrating. And I'd always invest in the health. You notice, like when I first started out, my health bar was like super fucking small.
Yeah, that was another thing I was reading.
And I kept upgrading my
you
health.
have to like diversify. You can't just fucking go and use every point on the same.
Well, I would literally like.
I get it. Health is usually one of the first things I always on any type of.
You get 1 point to upgrade per level, and once I hit like level 3, after upgrading my health twice or 3 times, I would then go into strength, or the one that was defense. I think it was dexterity. I tried changing that.
How about dexterity was more like speed?
I don't remember. It might have been movement speed for dexterity. I can't remember what defense was, but it was the one that said it was defense. Basically, I could take more hits and it would give me less damage.
Yeah.
I tried diversifying that during my runs. Most of the time, I leaned more into putting it to health because that seemed to be the most effective. Which makes sense in those kind of games. More health you have, the less chance of dying you have.
Yeah.
But tell me about your game. I don't even remember what you played.
All right, so the name of the game I played was Narco Terror. It was a twin stick shooter. Where basically it's one man versus an entire fucking cartel.
I will say before watching you play, I kind of forgot what twin shooter meant.
Twin stick shooter. So you got 2 sticks. So one is basically picking the direction, and the other one, as long as you're pushing it, it's shooting. So like you don't pull triggers, you just.
What was that one game called where you run a game show and it was like that?
Smash TV. That was
Smash TV.
Game, yeah, it's really cool. It was probably the first twin shooter I can think of. Twin stick shooter I can think of.
It's the only one I can think of.
So my brother during the stream mentioned that it was like Contra, but the difference between Contra is all side scrolling only. This shit was you can go up, down. It was like 3/4 of top down. It was kind of weird.
It was
wasn't really, straight up isometric or whatever. It was like
You're looking like
fucking-
horizontal
Yeah,
down.
it's
These
kind of
characters.
cool. It's kind of a cool,
It was a weird angle, but
different. It was older game. I forget. I think it was. What did I say it was? 2017 the game came out or some shit.
17 or 13.
I don't remember for sure. But either way, I think it came out in the PS3 era.
It's called Narco Terror.
Narco Terror, yeah. So, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of just exploding shit. Basically, it was the funnest part of it. Really was just taking out everything, like demolishing anything and everything. I was blowing up stacks of cocaine.
It looks like it was 2013.
13, okay.
Okay.
So I was blowing up, stacks of cocaine.
Yeah, I saw that. The explosions
cars,
was like the most fun part.
explosions and shit was fun. Yeah, all that shit was fun, especially if you like bait them into like running into it and then blow them up.
Yeah.
I went through, I don't know, the first couple levels and barely died at all, and then typical for action, for your action type games is the biggest difference. What makes it harder is suddenly your enemies have more fucking armor.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing they can think of is like, that, and there's usually more enemies, but
instead of making like, I don't know, smarter AI.
Yeah, instead of, anything.
I guess
Instead of finding some
2013.
other way to make it, which, that's typical, though. What else are they going to do, really? I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, I get it.
Other than, like, incorporating, like, attacks by helicopters and shit that you really just can't fuck with, which eventually was kind of, like, similar to the section where I got stuck.
Yeah.
So I got to the 5th level, and I was just cruising really up to that point. But damn. So there's mortars and shit falling out of the sky constantly. And those motherfuckers had perfect aim.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying everything. I was running. But the thing is, like, you couldn't. The part that pissed me off about that section was that it's a twin stick shooter, but if you took time to shoot, your ass was going to get killed. And there were plenty of enemies to shoot.
I noticed that.
And that was annoying. Like, that was a development, developers didn't really think that shit out very good. But so basically it came down to, I had to take out the guys that were doing mortars, which is hard to do considering if you stop for a second to shoot, you get blown the fuck up.
Yeah.
But it was this stupid, like, Gears of War type of roll, shoot that eventually bailed me out of that round. But what's funny was when I did finally beat that part, I couldn't figure out where to go because I spent the entire first 4 levels convinced that if I touch water, I'm going to die.
Right.
So I ended up dying just trying because there's still a million enemies with all kinds of other shit that's shooting at me while I'm trying to find my way out of that section. It turns out I just accidentally rolled into the water and realized I was still alive. And then I rolled across the water and got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
So I went upriver and I was in a new section and I was like, yay, finally. It only took me that section took me like an hour. The whole game took me like 9 hours. So spoiler alert there. I ended up beating the entire fucking game. I just didn't do it on stream.
Yeah. So I watched quite a bit of the stream. I didn't talk a lot. I was watching though. Mainly because I was messing with some other stuff that I did tell you about while you were streaming. The one spot you were like trying to get up this rock face. You were like climbing up some hill or something.
Yeah, that's the part I was stuck in forever.
Yeah. It kind of also seemed like you got a really bad checkpoint there too. Like as soon as you spawned.
Yeah, as soon as I did the C4 thing to blow up the fucking thing. First of all, I hated the fact that every time you did that shit, you had to get the fuck out real fast or it'll hurt you. Mm-hmm. The explosion will.
It almost seemed immediate too when you set it down.
Yeah.
Maybe like a second.
So it was like I was spawn blowing up already and have to hurry up and get the fuck out of there. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. I noticed that. I was like, I think he got a really bad checkpoint here.
Because the checkpoints really didn't make a lot of sense. Like sometimes you'd go forever without one, and then sometimes you get one right after the other.
Yeah, and I think that same spot, I remember you saying, like, do I have to kill all the enemies here or something to move on?
Yeah, that was because I was stuck and trying to figure out what I needed to do.
I also remember there was a point where you got onto there was two Gatling guns.
Yeah, those were fun.
And I noticed that you kept complaining about getting shot by rockets, but I noticed if you shot the rockets, they'd go away.
Yeah, but there's a lot going on
to
pay attention, because as soon as you think you killed all the rocket guys, another one just randomly spawns.
There was also grenade guys too, but there was also a warning for when they were about to throw a grenade.
Plus the guns overheated. That was one of the things.
I didn't know that much.
Like it was slow way down, and you'd be like pew pew pew. So there were two. So what I eventually ended up doing in that part was just jump out real quick and get back behind the other one, because you don't really take any damage while you're doing the fucking gun unless they take out the gun, and then you're you have to go to the other one. So that's why I ended up getting past that. That part was easy, man. But so name of my character was Quinn, and the whole fucking the story, there wasn't much story. At first, you don't even know why you're going after the cartel. I still didn't figure that shit out. You're going after one certain guy or something.
For the cocaina.
But as soon as was it like I don't know, it's about the third level or so, you realize what the whole plot of the whole game is supposed to be, is that your daughter gets kidnapped by the fucking cartel. And that is one of your old army buddies or some shit that's the head of the cartel now. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
spoiler,
imagine,
even though it's an old ass fucking game, so it shouldn't really be no spoiler to it at this point. If you played it, great. If not, sorry. So yeah, so basically he had my character's daughter kidnapped, and so from there forward it stopped being about whatever mission he was originally on to
save the daughter.
Saving his daughter. So, and one of the cool things that was typical was everybody was saying 80s, but I think it's more like 90s, but like they had the shitty, puns or whatever that fucking action heroes, I'll be back type shit. But like he would always say some smart ass comment when he would kill people. And what was funny was I didn't realize it till after I'd already beaten it, and I tried to go back and finish up some trophies or whatever. Even before, like, because I played it on a harder level, so I was dying like the first or second level. Even before that his daughter is kidnapped, because they hadn't gotten to that part of the story yet. When he dies, he'd be like, "Tell Chloe I love her," or whatever, like, or something dumb like.
I almost expected her name to be like
what he was talking about.
What was it, Jenny or Jen?
Why?
Because it used to be like every game had it where there was a damsel in distress. Her name was Jenny or something.
Her name was Jenny.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because she wouldn't be a damsel in distress as much, just because she's not like a love interest. She's his daughter. So
I think you're the one who pointed that out to me a long time ago while you were playing the original Prey.
Yeah, a lot of games, because a lot of games during that time, I remember there were a lot of fucking Jennies.
It was Jenny's, right? That's the name I'm thinking of.
Prey, I think, was Jenny.
Yeah, the original Prey, not the
original Prey. Yeah.
What is it? 2019, 2018, something teen.
Yeah. Not the late 2010s Prey. There was a couple other games that had some Jenny characters, but yeah, I remember 17. That. Yeah.
We're talking about the 2006 Prey.
2006. What was that, on 360 that I played that game?
Yes. I think that's better than the new Prey.
I do too. The new Prey, they tried to do too much, but it apparently a lot of people loved it. So
I like the original Prey. from what I remember of it. Honestly, I don't remember much. I remember really enjoying it. That's all. But I didn't enjoy 2016 Prey, 17 Prey, whatever did I say?
Yeah,
It was
2017.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a cheesy action twin stick shooter. It took me a total of shit, I don't even know, maybe 7 hours to beat it. Everything was kind of a breeze at first, and then that one section that I stalled out at really bad had me fucking really pissed, and then got past that, and it was back to just being, you do die and stuff, but it's not like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The boss battle at the end was kind of cool. He was like a giant fucking mech robot type. You're on a battleship or something. I don't even know. It was some kind of a boat. It's a big ass boat.
Got.
And you get some cool like weapons that you pick up from time to time. And I did actually fully upgrade every one of my weapons. So that was kind of cool too.
Oh, that is cool. I like games where you can upgrade your weapons and shit.
They only had like two upgrades per weapon, and there's only really 4 main weapons. You had a shotgun, a pistol, which so you had a shotgun, a pistol, a machine gun, and a minigun. Now the minigun would overheat no matter what. Like there was no like upgrade to where it would never overheat.
Did it like kind of delay the overheating?
I mean, it took a while, but then once it overheated, you couldn't use it for a while until it cooled down, and then so you don't want to. You just rather switch weapons than wait on that shit to cool down. The shotgun was probably the best weapon, unless like you got to take out some ranged enemies like far away, and then you just switch to something else. It's like
fuck that buckshot.
The machine gun, the assault rifle. I think it was the assault rifle. When you go to level 2, you hold 2. You're like a badass. You're like holding
fucking
2
sweet.
of them. You're dual. I thought it would be the pistol that would be like that, but it was actually something automatic for certain.
Desert Eagle, that shit.
Yeah. Thought that was cool. Kimbo style fucking. So some of the like weapons that you would pick up though, that are like special weapons. You had a fucking flamethrower.
So did like you 100% this game?
No. Unfortunately, no, because you had to play it. You had to beat the whole thing on the hardest level. I really didn't feel like playing it back through, especially if I.
So nearly 100% of it.
So there were 20 trophies. I think I got 14 of them. If I went back, I could probably pick up 2 more trophies if I really wanted to. So either way, I would not 100% it. And what's funny is since it's a PS3 game, there's no platinum trophy.
Oh.
So even if I got every trophy, I would not get a platinum for it. So that alone is kind of a reason too that.
So is this game on your playlist, day list, or gone?
I've already beaten it. I have no reason to play it again.
Okay.
But it's not like because it was horrible or anything. It's just there's so much other shit to play.
Believe it or not, after everything I said, I think Loot River is going to stay on my playlist.
How?
I think I'll eventually pick it back.
You're like, fuck this game. I'm never playing it again. How do you go from that to like you pretty much cleared that up keep it in your playlist.
Because I did have fun at the beginning. It was very fun at the beginning. Like I said, the frustrating part was restarting from the beginning.
Well, that's what's going to happen if you play it again.
Not if I win.
You have to literally, what do you have to do? Beat the whole game in order to...
Yeah. I got 100% it. What are you talking about?
Okay.
So, trying to move us along here on some topics.
Sure.
I want you to talk about why you won't get a Steam Deck, because it's going to connect well into what I want to talk
about. Okay. So, first of all, I want to tell you that a lot of things about the Steam Deck are fucking awesome from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to shit talk the Steam Deck because, I mean, at least they're a major player in this thing.
I actually think the Steam Deck's really, really cool. And I personally do want one, just not for the price they sell them at right now.
All right. So, okay, so they have a lot of really cool features and a big ass fucking screen. The thing is huge.
Oh yeah, it's
heavy too.
Oh, I don't know how heavy it is. I haven't held one.
From what I've heard, I mean, I haven't held one either. I'm just saying from what I've seen on reviews and things. So, why wouldn't I? There's two reasons, two very negative things about the Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
One, it doesn't have very much storage for what it is.
That's fair.
Okay, that's one.
Yep.
Two, you have to keep the fucking thing plugged in to play it. What's the point of something portable if you can't play it? Because like literally the battery will last like 2 hours at the most. So those are the two main things that prevent me. I think the screen is nice. The screen is awesome. It's big.
Yes.
The controls, especially the little touch pads on the almost like a laptop would have, but there's like two. There's like one on each side.
Trackpad.
Yeah, they're like track pads basically. That's really cool and innovative.
It's really fucking great. Like it's
so
not great. Awesome. I mean,
everything that it offers, if it was truly portable, would be amazing. But with that not being the case, just get a laptop. I mean, just game on a laptop if you're going to be stuck right where you are because you got to keep the shit plugged in.
I can see that. So
that's my problem with it is what's the point of it being portable? And yeah, the price kind of fucking sucks too. But
yeah, it's like fucking $1,000 new or something.
No,
it's like 400. I don't know.
It's 400. Yeah.
I think when they were first coming out, they're around 1,000 because people were trying to resell them.
I think they have different versions though that like whatever. But
I
ultimately,
I know when I looked at getting one, they were 1,000.
Well, that's probably people scalping them shits
yeah,
because they're like $400. I think they retail around 400.
Yeah.
But for what you get and the fact that it's supposed to be portable, but you have to keep the shit plugged in is exactly why. I'm probably very alone on this, but I would say no to the Steam Deck.
So I am actually with and against you at the same time. There are cheaper options out there that can do more and live longer. I don't know if you know
an example, dude.
Any Raspberry Pi.
Can they do more? You said do more and last longer.
I'll get there. So with the Steam Deck, do you know if you can upgrade the memory at all?
I think you can add an SD card, possibly.
Okay. I actually didn't know.
I think so.
I never really.
I will tell you this: the Steam Deck is 1,000,000 times better than the fucking Logitech G Cloud.
Oh yeah, we can get into that later.
They could scratch that one because.
But
yeah.
What I find really cool about the Steam Deck is, fucking company did it was Volt, right?
Who?
The company Volt who made it. Steam.
Oh,
Valve. Sorry,
Valve. There you go. Yeah.
So they fully support the whole like modding it and shit like that. They showed people how to take it apart. Well, they asked you not to take it apart. They said if you want to take it apart,
probably void the warranty.
No. They said send it to us and we'll do whatever you want to it or something like that. And then like 2 weeks before it even like came out, they're like, we don't recommend this, but this is how you take it apart if you need to take it apart to rearrange it. And people have done sweet things with that. People have turned their Steam Deck into like an arcade counter type deal where it turns sideways and they can play fucking Galaga on it. That's real cool. I lost my point there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much you can do with it, but like you said, the whole, the price point sucks. the
I mean,
fact,
a lot of people are bragging about all the emulation options that you have, but
I mean, that's one of the big things
I don't
I
really
like
care
about it.
about emulation. So, like, ultimately,
That's part of what differs from me and you. I love emulation, and I always will support emulation, and I like doing emulation. And I'll actually get into that in a bit because that's part of why I want to get
because
into this
that's
topic.
like one of the like major things that pretty much everyone said in every video I watched and every. It's like
That's
they just glanced over the fact that it's supposed to be fucking portable, and I'm like, dude, that's the biggest fucking thing.
no, I can
If you
definitely
still
see.
got to sit there and fucking be tied to your seat and have it plugged in,
So
then you're fucked. You're not even playing a portable device. You're playing something that might as well be bigger on a damn monitor.
the biggest plus I can see to getting something like the Steam Deck, and not necessarily just the Steam Deck. I know Razer's coming up with their own thing,
Yeah,
and
that
I'm not
thing looks
exactly sure how that's going to
nice.
work out. It looks pretty. There's one you showed me today that looks really fucking pretty.
Yeah,
But
we're
it's
gonna get
stupid
into that
expensive.
one though. Remember, that's
Yeah, I
something
know.
we're gonna.
That one looks really pretty, but it's stupid expensive. Um, and the biggest plus to those that I can even think of off the top of my head is just being able to connect to Steam. You can take your whole Steam library with you wherever you go, portably. I still think 2 hours of playtime is considered portable. I can see how if it's not enough for you, I get that.
No, I mean it's not even that. It's just the fact that okay, so 2 hours is fine. Who the fuck really needs to play a game for much longer than 2 hours? Maybe I don't know. It's the fact that you don't have an option to play it longer. I mean, ultimately you're stuck.
Yeah, without carrying like power banks or something like that. I didn't actually
Yeah.
know that fact. I didn't know it lasts only around 2 hours.
Of gaming. Now, if you want to fucking leave it on idle, I'm sure it'll last for a while, but it's not doing nothing. So,
Yeah, I also
you
wonder
know,
like what kind of settings it's on while it's doing that. It's on like its most performance mode or something like that. It's just a bunch of things you got to take into consideration. I don't know. I don't know that much about that kind of. I didn't know it was that bad on battery. Honestly,
yeah.
I knew a little bit about the memory, but I figured you could upgrade that anyways.
So,
So, like I said, the biggest plus I can see to get like the Steam Deck, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know about the Razer one, is your Steam library. You just get a hold of your Steam library and take it wherever you want.
okay, so there's an
But
app literally on everything fucking Android at this point, and I'm probably everything Apple or whatever. Um, it's called Steam Link or some shit like that,
yes,
where you can basically link your mobile device as long as you have your computer within reach, which would basically be the same idea. Because if
okay,
you're
but
fucking stuck, you're gonna might as well be stuck near your computer,
yeah, I guess my
or
whole
at
idea
least within
was
the same
like,
Wi-Fi or whatever the hell.
well, I was more thinking in the lines of you can download your games to that, go to, I don't know, the DMV, sit at the DMV, you can pick it up, start playing fucking Borderlands right off your Steam Deck. But to that point though, the Switch has a lot of fucking games that like you get on Steam. Plus
It's
like
kind of like
emulate.
a lot of these devices and shit like the brag that they can do. The the Xbox Game Pass
Mhm.
Cloud. It's like everything can.
And that's part of why I was looking into getting it in the first place.
But
But
almost everything's great for emulation at this point.
I'm
Same
getting there.
idea.
So there's also you don't obviously you don't know what a Raspberry Pi is. It's basically a tablet that you can make do whatever the fuck you want. You can program it into a robot, make the robot do whatever it wants. They are fantastic for doing any kind of emulation. So if you want something to emulate on and you have just a little bit of knowledge and you know how to use fucking YouTube's great by the way. You can literally just look
Sure
up
it
how to
is.
make your own emulator with that. Or you can just buy a dedicated emulator. Or you can be stupid like me and buy a PSP to emulate old Nintendo games.
See what I'm saying? You just made my point. Everything's good at emulation, so emulation can't be the the catch,
Well,
the whole reason why you should go with any device, because fucking
well,
you
yeah,
can
I
emulate
mean,
on almost anything.
I'm on your side here. I literally went against getting it because, like, well, I can just emulate the games I want to emulate on a PSP that's a fourth of the price. With that said, there are things I can't emulate on this PSP that I wish I could. For example, I don't know, PS4 games. Or I think I can actually emulate PSP games or PS3 games. Obviously, I can do PSP games. That's the easy ones.
So what I want to do, because it sort of changes the subject, but it also sort of stays very similar, is I want to show this device that I sent to you. So I'm going to share my screen right quick.
Yeah. No, I want to get into that too.
I'm losing my mouse. Okay, here we go.
And it still connects to the subject I want to stay on, because I do want to talk about what I want to,
All right, come on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You're going with your thing first.
All right, I'm gonna show this.
Anyways, there's better ways to emulate. That's all I'm saying.
There's a million ways to emulate. So like, the whole point of that thing is sort of like nothing.
Also,
really.
If you're trying to emulate PS4 games, buy a Vita. It's a little bit more expensive than a PSP, but you can do your PS4 games. I just wasn't that interested in much PS4 games, so I decided the price wasn't worth it.
All right, so what we're looking at here
is the One X Player 1S 11.
It has the 11. It's supposed to be 11th gen. I don't know why it says 11th core. 11th gen Tiger Lake, the i7 119, whatever, is 11th gen.
7, yeah, 2 terabyte,
8.4 inch handheld. Basically, the screen's huge. It's just like just as big as the Steam Deck. I think actually Steam Deck might have a 7-inch screen.
I do have a question, because I didn't take much look at it because I was at work. Is that an OLED screen?
What does it say here? Descriptions. See, this is my problem with this. It's literally a computer.
Yeah, it's a computer.
It's literally a PC.
It's a portable.
But it doesn't even have like, I've never even heard of this graphics card. So basically, it's the XE graphics eligible, whatever the hell. I don't even know. The graphics is the Iris XE. What the hell is that? I don't know. So part of the questions that people asked, because I looked down, I don't even know where the questions are on this thing.
Keep going.
Way down, because there's a whole lot of the specs on this thing are pretty amazing, other than the graphics card though.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. It's DDR4 RAM. It has a real SSD, like a regular real SSD. Expensive as shit, obviously.
What was it called again?
The One X Player. So one of the questions is, can you play not that. Where is it at? Does it run Steam games? Oh, pretty good. Most of the Steam games run on it with 1080p, and most of the new Steam games can be run on it with 800 resolution. So that's less than 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's a little better than 720, right?
Yeah.
But if it had like a legit, so like for this price, $14.29, currently you could probably buy a laptop with a 3070 in it, graphics card with the fucking amazing graphics and shit. So it's like they're charging a little too much for the fact that it's portable.
I would like to also point out it runs Windows 10.
No, well, okay, so it says that there, but also where's it at? Somewhere in the pictures it shows Windows 11 comes with it.
Oh, okay. So maybe
right here, Windows 11.
That's probably just an old.
Yeah, it probably originally came out when 10 was the newest. So
only weighs a pound.
It has a legit damn oh god, whatever processor, like whatever CPU, like a regular CPU. But why didn't it have a regular GPU? That's my whole. For $1,400, I mean, it's a hard pass, even though that thing is amazing. It's probably a whole like awesome ass, and it comes with so like 2 terabytes?
Yeah.
So this ain't no like. I think the Steam Deck comes with 64. So 64 gigabytes compared to 2 terabytes. Like, so that is awesome. The only reason I even found out about this thing was it was listed as one of the main alternatives to like the Steam Deck. But at that price, like that's $1,000 more than the Steam Deck.
Is it $1,000 worth of?
That's not to me. I mean, I wouldn't pay $1,400 for this, so I guess not. Do I think it's awesome?
I think it looks beautiful. Like I love the color scheme. It looks
It's
slick.
really cool.
I'm not like I said. I want to know.
It has turbo buttons also. That's what some of this shit is. And
I want to know what kind of screen that is, though. Is my only thing. Not like I'm gonna buy it though.
I don't know. It probably does say it. Let me see if I can find it real quick without.
I already closed mine out, so I can't even.
Yeah,
look.
I'm trying to. You think it would because it talks about the
right there.
Oh, has speakers too. Oh, where?
Oh, that says motor. My bad.
Yeah,
I thought it said monitor. I was like,
yeah, that's the rumble. So basically, it has the rumble on it.
Yeah.
Dual vibration motors.
It has a TV mode. I saw that.
Yeah, and it also can be used as a laptop, which makes. I mean, it's a fucking computer, so yeah, of course it can.
You know, this might not be worth it to me or you because
it says a screen resolution on here, but it doesn't really say
what kind.
If it's an AMOLED or a damn
OLED or anything like that.
Any kind of LED. I mean, it's probably touchscreen. Probably has touch capabilities, so
I feel like they would list that.
Probably somewhere it might. I just didn't really. I mean, it has those joysticks look really cool, but
yeah.
I wonder if you get stick drift. Everyone bitches about controllers having stick drift, which I've actually encountered that.
The Switch is very bad about it. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. I just wanted to.
We're just
so basically just to see, you know, if that's something comparative to the Steam only, like to Steam Deck, but it's like way more expensive and way better specs all the way around still, even if it's not OLED or if it is.
So if I had a fucking option between
move this,
if I
quit
was in a position where I could buy either the Steam Deck or this, I'd still choose the Raspberry Pi. You can do a lot with Raspberry Pis.
Watch, I'm gonna end up looking up this damn Raspberry Pi thing. Not right now, but I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna be like, meh.
It's literally like a motherboard that you can basically do anything with. It's not very powerful, but you can do so much with it.
So in other words, it's just because of emulation.
I mean, yeah, that's the biggest thing I want, though. So
it's got to do more than one thing, man.
Okay, wow, they're a little bit more expensive than I thought they were. Anyways,
I wasn't really going to look it up for the price. I was more so looking it up for what it even does, because if it's that wonderful, everybody would have been talking about this Raspberry Pi.
While we're on the topic of emulations or handhelds or stuff like that, I wanted to give everyone an update on my whole PSP adventure. So I got my Star Wars PSP in, and I got it set up with Infinity, which is a what do they call it? It's a custom software, and I now own all the Yu-Gi-Oh games I wanted, and I can run Game Boy games on it, along with Nintendo 60. I think it was Nintendo 64, Nintendo Entertainment Centers, Dreamcast, Sega, all those. There's a huge list I could go through of games I could play. And mainly I just want to say whether or not I think it was worth it. So, you know, if you already have a PSP, I'd say fucking go for it. You know, after getting the PSP and everything, the hardest part of doing any of this was just getting it to stay connected, and I think that's just because I got a bum wire. But I don't recommend going out and spending the $103, I think it was total. I mean, especially if you count the $20 or $30 I spent on the other one.
Neither.
Which, by the way, I think it's just bricked. I think I might be able to fix that. But overall, installing everything took me 10 minutes. Like I said, my biggest issue is just keeping it connected, and I think that's just because of the wire. You know, it was real simple to do. The controls on the Game Boy one at least feel you know, good enough. You can map them however you want. It looks brilliant on this screen. You know, this screen is definitely way better than a Game Boy SP ever was.
Or Game Boy Color or Game Boy anything
well,
called
I'm going to use
Boy.
Game Boy SP because the Game Boy SP was the last Game Boy besides Micro, but I think that was actually worse resolution.
What was the one that was dark as hell? Like they even sold like a light that you can shine on your screen because it was so.
The Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Advanced.
I think it was the Game Boy Advance that was real disappointing because of how fucking dark it was.
My Game Boy Advance is sitting over there on my table. The one I
got you like 100 years ago
when I was 4. It's still sitting on my table, and that was another topic I wanted to bring up, by the way. But yeah, overall, I think doing this emulation with this was a lot of fun, and I'm definitely enjoying my spoils for the work I put into it. And like I said, Dad, if you ever want me to do this for you, if I can get that other one fixed, it'll be real simple, and I can load whatever PS2, PS1, maybe even Xbox games I want to do it for you.
I don't think it'll go that far, will it?
Original Xbox?
Oh, original, yeah, because it'll do PS2. That's the same gen.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's available on here. Anyways, I'll figure it out if, you know. I did try running GameCube off the RetroArch software that I installed. It doesn't seem to be compatible with this software. I do not know if there's other software into it yet. I actually just today started using the RetroArch software to do retro gaming, just to expand more of my knowledge. Up until then, I was literally just downloading PSP games and playing them.
All right. So, do you have anything else to say about that? Because it seems like we spent most of the episode talking about emulation somehow.
I mean, that's fine. The episode can have a theme. It's not like it's going.
All right. So
still talk about different things.
That's cool. So let's switch gears here.
Finally turn this off.
Kind of the same idea, but let's talk about for each company. What do you think is the like the best console gen or whatever for those? Like for example, PlayStation would be, did you like the PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4? I think they definitely have better naming than Xbox does.
Yeah.
They actually have better naming than Nintendo does too, so.
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah.
It makes more fucking sense.
I'll only give you that because they fucking went from the biggest one was with the 3DS. The updated model is called the new 3DS.
Okay, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes sense. It goes in order. Xbox fucked it all up. Xbox One should have been the first one.
Yeah, but I still understand some of the naming conventions when it comes to Nintendo. Nintendo Game Boy, Nintendo Game Boy Color. It's a Game Boy with color. Nintendo Game Boy Advanced. It's the advanced version of the color.
I mean,
Nintendo Game Boy
still,
SP.
It doesn't even compare to like how simple and
no. I mean that
if
you're going simplicity, then yeah, PSP has it.
Common sense too. Like Wii. What the hell's Wii? What the fuck does Wii got to do with shit? WII.
I have no fucking clue. I think
Okay, so therefore they automatically lose to PlayStation because PlayStation makes more fucking sense than Wii and Wii U.
no, fuck that. Wii U automatically gets disqualification. You
Yeah,
would
'cause
not
it
take that
sucked.
name about Wii. Wii's its own
All right.
thing.
So let's get back to the point of this. What is the so for each gen, so for PlayStation, which is the best PlayStation?
PlayStation 2.
Okay, and why? There's a why part.
I mean, I just always enjoyed playing the PlayStation 2 when I had it. You know, there's a great library. And, you know, besides the PlayStation 4 you gave me, it was the last one I can remember getting.
Okay.
That's it.
So for PlayStation, for me, it would be the PlayStation 4, just because I've never been a PlayStation guy, and the PS4 actually convinced me to walk on the dark side there, or whatever comes to the dark side.
Well, I remember when I was
The
growing up.
PS4 though, completely specs wise, which is funny because that didn't happen with the next gen, but specs wise, PS4 was hands down above the Xbox. What is it? Xbox One.
Yeah, I
So
remember that too.
I love them both, but of all the PlayStations, I never even had or owned or rarely even touched a PS2. So I can't really, it's hard to like agree or disagree because I don't have enough. Well, what little bit I did play, like if a game came out on Xbox or came out on PlayStation during that time, it ran seemingly a hell of a lot smoother on the Xbox, and it looked way more polygon or whatever the hell you want to call it on PlayStation at that time.
So I remember as a kid, real young, real young, I had a PS1 in my room.
PS1 was probably my second favorite PlayStation.
Was that yours or was that
Probably. I actually had a PS1, and then PS2 came around, and I just wasn't interested because, like I said, I played someone else's, and it just had, I don't know, man. By then, I was too much of an Xbox guy.
Do you remember if there was any certain reason you would have went and got a PS1 or?
I had one just because I like PS1.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if
I
someone
probably
gave
got
it
a
to
hold
you
of
or
one
what.
cheap. Who knows?
Yeah.
PS1 was cool. I didn't like PS2. PS3, I never really had until recently, and I think it's decent. It's a lot of hardware, and it was more expensive than it needed to be, especially at launch. Jeez.
I think the whole story around the PS3 is real interesting to me, but other than that, I didn't care for it.
All right, so what about Xbox? Which part of the funky name, the worst naming group
The original one.
ever?
The original one.
I'm now starting to think you're just trolling at this point. You
no,
said
the original one.
And now the original Xbox.
Yes. I grew up with the original Xbox in the house. I remember playing.
I swear you grew up with a 360.
Okay, I did have a 360. I remember playing on the original Xbox, the Punisher game. I fondly remember that.
So
I
one
adored that game,
which was amazing.
I adored the Need for Speed Most Wanted game on the original Xbox. Those are the only two games I can remember right now, but there were others. I think there was Spyro. There was that Spyro game.
I think Most Wanted was a 360 game.
No, Most Wanted was definitely an original Xbox because we took it to New Orleans with us.
Now, there were some original Xbox games that I loved.
The original Xbox is what really got me into gaming too. You know, we always had consoles around the house. Like I said, I had a PSP in my or PS1 in the room. We had the it was the NES or SNES. I can't remember off the top of my head. In the living room of that one house we lived in.
So I think I would say the 360, but that red ring of death was a little too common of an occurrence. That's why I had so fucking many of them.
Well,
so hardware wise, it was just built like shit. I don't understand why.
I watched a video about the red ring of death not too long ago, and if you set your Xbox off after the Red Ring of Death, they were supposed to send you one that wouldn't have that problem again. And I can't remember what the problem was. It was like it was overheating or something.
No, it's the eye for the disc reader.
No,
That's
I don't
usually
think.
what it was, I think.
I don't think that was what was it. I don't know.
So anyway, because of the Red Ring of Death, I can't give it to that. I'd probably go with fucking Xbox Series. I mean, not Series, Xbox One. Stupidest name. Stupidest fucking name ever. It wins that award.
Yeah, I think
I was the third one to one.
I think Xbox One would definitely be close second to the original Xbox. And it's only because I have those fond memories with the Punisher game or Need for Speed.
I mean, it should have been the 360 considering I owned about 900 of them because I've always had to fucking buy a new one. And I had sent them off before and they do not send them. So what I did one time when I sent it off is I made a scratch on like the back somewhere that I would recognize if I got my same one back, and I did not. And it was a whole different.
Yeah, they were supposed to send you a whole new Xbox that didn't have that problem.
New. I promise you, it wasn't new. It was one of them that they had already fixed from someone else.
Yeah.
What was cool though was if you had a black one, you get a black one back. If you had a white one, you get a white one back. What would really suck?
I feel like you sent a white one and they sent you a black one at one point.
No. They even told you if you had any special like face plates and shit, you had to take those off because you were not getting your shit back. So
yeah, we had a Saints one. I remember that.
Yeah, we had a Saints face plate.
I have no clue what happened to that, by the way. I think I was the last one to have it, but it disappeared in one of my moves.
I don't know. So definitely probably have to go with Xbox One just because the hardware was that much better. And I'm currently having problems with my Series S, which I don't have the X, I have the S. But
you're having a problem with your S? What problem?
I told you the sometimes on some games the textures don't load.
Okay, yeah, I get.
Don't load properly, like. Yeah. Like I can sit there and be playing COD and like you sitting in the menus and your gun is just like this blur.
Yeah.
And like the background sometimes it be blurs, but usually when you're in the game playing, it's okay. But sometimes even that would like fall out. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I looked it up and it's apparently like you have to actually send it in to get it fixed. And it's like, man, can I just get an Xbox that works properly? I mean, it works fine other than that. So what about Nintendo, which I have way less experience with because you better not say the Wii or I know you're trolling.
No, I actually hate the Wii. The Wii is kind of a terrible system. For the Wii,
way overrated, man. Their marketing was amazing. Nintendo had amazing marketing.
So
they had people
Wii,
waiting to get that piece of shit.
In hindsight, is terrible, I should say. In the day, the gimmick was cool. You know, I can't even name like 3 games I played. The Wii Bowling was the biggest one.
Oh, the Wii Sports one that everyone had, or the
yeah. It came stock with it. That was the biggest one I remember playing. In a Speed Racer game that I would still probably play if I had a Wii, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get it.
I love some of the stupid videos though, where like people are like playing the Wii baseball,
fucking chuck their
throw it through their TV.
There's a strap. There's a strap for a reason.
So yeah, it better not be the Wii. So what is it?
It's definitely the Switch. Without a doubt, it's the Switch. I just like the whole. I like being able to stick it in the dock, pull it out. I feel like the library is great.
I don't even know why I asked the Nintendo part because I think we both know both of our answers. So it's like,
yeah, you're just gonna be like the SNES,
Super Nintendo. Yeah, I already said that. And for every reason under the sun because it's freaking.
Well, also on my Switch, you know, I can play the SNES games or anything like that.
I mean, I get that, but that's not the same to me.
Yeah,
I get
emulators,
like just like playing.
Oh, it's not even emulation.
I know, but I'm saying ultimately it's the same idea. It's like you're just playing some old throwback game on a different system.
Yeah. Plus, I really like what I did with my Switch, and I made it look like an SNES. Except this part because my kickstand broke and I had to order a new one. The kickstand on the Switches suck, by the way. Don't ever use them.
The controllers suck to me, but what do I know?
Just do a different controller. I mean,
yeah, ultimately they
I
have
can use an
controllers
Xbox.
that look almost exactly like an Xbox controller.
I can use my Xbox controller on my Switch. There's a $8 dongle you can buy. Yeah, but I think the Switch is probably the best console they have, and I don't really know where they're going to go from here.
Okay, so we've named the big three companies. What of anything? I guess it's Raspberry Pi for you, right?
No.
What of anything
I've never
else
experienced
that's
a Raspberry Pi.
it's not one of those three companies? Do you think is a great console or platform or?
I mean, just computer in general. I mean,
PCs,
yeah.
I guess if you want to count those, I mean, there's really like no.
I wasn't going to, but PC in general is kind of that's where I'd label Steam Decks and anything emulation based is all computers to me. You know.
I mean, all of it's computers, one way or another.
You know,
but,
you know what I'm saying. You have to go through a computer to like do anything emulation wise. So if I talk about emulators, it's automatically computer. Even if I'm playing on a PSP, it's just a.
Someone used a computer. It doesn't necessarily have to be a computer because you can get like the little stupid.
Oh yeah.
Thumb drive that someone else like sold you that's got emulator central on it or whatever the hell.
And again, I'm not trying to bring up emulators or stuff like that, but when I think of other consoles, most of the ones I think of are made for emulating or for playing like Steam games or, you know.
So
I guess there's like the
Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive or whatever.
I liked the original Atari. That was fun.
The 2600 or
with the stick and the one button. I remember playing the hell out of some Pong and that shit at grandma's.
There was a game called Combat. That shit was so fun. It was so stupid and basic, but like you'd be like a tank on one side, and there's like these like things that block you, so you have to like bounce your shot off the wall and try to make it ricochet and hit your opponent wherever he's at.
What was that one game where you were jumping over holes and grabbing on
Pitfall?
vines?
I don't like that game. I don't like that.
I remember playing that.
It had annoying sounds that everybody knew. Dig Dug was great.
Dig Dug is always great. That.
So,
other than that, I can't really think of any. You know.
Some of them came out and they were so expensive when they came out that no one, like hardly anyone bought them, like Neo Geo.
Yeah,
like that, which basically was like more for like fighting and shooters than anything else. Like not shooters like modern, like like our first person shooters, but like like the little flying airplane shooters and shit like that, whatever.
At the same birthday party where you gave me my Game Boy, we were at an arcade. I remember that. It was like a pizza arcade place. And it's not like the new age arcade.
Frogger. They had like the old tables, the cabinet. Like instead of the cabinets, they had more so like the tables.
No, they definitely had cabinets too. Because I remember
they had cabinets, but I remember like the real appeal there was that like
So counting those as consoles, I'd prefer to play the old cabinet ones over really anything. I think that's just a good time. It's that experience and everything.
But it's literally one game.
Yeah.
That's your option. You either like what's in that cabinet or you're pretty screwed otherwise.
I 100% want one of those cabinets though. Even if it's just
I don't want the cheap Walmart ones though.
I want a real
shitty.
Honestly,
I've always wanted one. I don't even have room for one, honestly.
Yeah,
I know you don't either, so
same.
But I want one.
I
wouldn't mind getting one of the table type ones. Like those shits are really cool.
Eventually, when I get my own house, like an actual house, not what I'm renting, I would like to have a game room and have stuff like that in there. And honest to God, I'd prefer to have the God, what was it? The Ninja Turtle one. What was that one called? Attack on Shredder or something like that. It was a Ninja Turtle arcade one that I remember at that birthday party.
Cowabunga! You kept hearing that shit over and over.
Yeah, I remember playing that with my cousin. I want that cabinet in particular. If someone has a good deal on that cabinet, please do not hit me up because I do not have space for it.
And if you got Mortal Kombat, That's the best way to play it, for real.
If you got Mortal Kombat, maybe hit me up because I might be tempted to buy that one and just get yelled at for it. How many more topics you want to hit?
I don't know. Let's see what we can do here. So I do want to talk about this. Because it's been like the biggest fucking roller coaster bullshit thing that anyone can talk about is the Microsoft and Activision, all that fucking drama. So the way I'm seeing it is PlayStation's being a little bitch. They're not getting their way. So they're okay. So first of all, one thing I remember that used to always piss me off was that PlayStation always had the exclusive shit.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're crying because they got outbid. That's basically what it is, because I'm sure they would have wanted.
Can you give some context for people who don't know? I know.
What are you talking about? For context for what?
What do we mean?
Well, I'm getting there. So to give a little history before I talk about it is PlayStation was always like, especially because I play a lot of Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation always had the exclusive, timed exclusives is what they call it. Where like, in order, like if you pre-ordered Call of Duty, whatever the most recent one it was at the time, PlayStation would get PlayStation players and people that pre-ordered it on PlayStation would get to play the shit a week earlier than Xbox players or PC players.
I thought that it's switched up between Xbox and PlayStation every year.
That shit was PlayStation. I remember it pissed me off every time because that was sort of some kind of a deal that PlayStation had. But PlayStation always had the good fucking, the best thing about PlayStation is what? Their exclusive titles are way better than.
Oh my god, yeah, they got some great
Xbox exclusives.
Fucking God of War, the Spider-Man game. Name another one, Dad. I can't.
Shit, are you serious? Every bit. So they have an exclusive. What was it? Naughty Dog, basically.
Yeah.
Everything
Horizon.
Naughty Dog makes is them.
Yeah.
Is PlayStation. They have exactly what they're opposed to. Because they have exclusive deals with certain developers.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it such a big deal? Because basically, I guess they got into a bidding war and lost. So Xbox has, well, if they let it happen, Xbox has an exclusive deal. Well, not even exclusive, because they're going to let PlayStation that's the part that. That's the part that makes no sense to me. And I guess there's like a competition committee or some I don't even remember what they're called. They're like the fair marketing, some shit or another. I forget.
So one of the biggest articles I remember seeing was when Xbox, it was titled like this. It was like, when Xbox gets a hold of Activision, they're still going to allow Call of Duty to be on PlayStation. Yeah. Call of Duty's the biggest player here.
But they did put a time limit on that. They said like for the next 3 games or next 3 years or something really weird.
No, I didn't read that part.
So I think some of the funny things about this though is they want to leave Nintendo out of this conversation. They're like, we're not in competition with Nintendo. We're like,
well,
they are in competition with each other, and ultimately, I get it. They're more so in competition with each other than they are with Nintendo.
So, also, I want to interject a little bit here. Microsoft and Nintendo have always been kind of together. I don't remember if you remember this or not, and I can't remember what game it was. There's a game that kept delaying crossplay on. It might have been Call of Duty. They kept delaying crossplay on. And the reason crossplay kept getting delayed was because Sony wanted people to pay to do crossplay, and whatever company it was against them paying for that. But Nintendo and Microsoft,
that was like EA or some shit.
It might have been. I can't remember. I think it was Battlefield actually. I can't remember. I know this, but Nintendo and Xbox or Nintendo and Microsoft were very hands in hand in the whole project. And there are games that Microsoft shares with Nintendo. The only example I have off the top of my head is Cuphead. You know, Cuphead was a Microsoft exclusive. Now Nintendo, you can buy it on the Switch. They are a company, opposing companies that get along, if that makes sense.
I mean, no one really messes with Nintendo. I don't really understand that because they're so busy bickering with each other. I guess they don't have time to worry about Nintendo.
I
But
feel like
Nintendo for the longest time was more on that family / no violence, blood and gore kids theme for a long time now. They got out of it. Obviously, they have some games now that are rated M.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of why they don't feel like they were truly ever really in competition with each other, because basically it's like Nintendo was marketed towards families and children versus the other two were like, you know, hardcore fucking gamers, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Adult gamers more so than kids, really. Except for the 8-year-olds that dominate Halo or whatever.
I also feel like Microsoft is a way, this is going to sound wrong, this is way big player than Sony is, because, you know, Microsoft is the one who like provides.
Well, when you count PC in it,
yeah,
they're way bigger, but
you know, they got their whole fucking Microsoft
console wise though,
and shit though.
I mean, like we talked about before, the PS2 was the highest selling console of any console.
Yeah, which was still surprising to me because I swear I read somewhere or heard something that the Switch surpassed it, but it's not even close. Switch is like fourth, which really surprised me.
Maybe the Switch broke some kind of a record that they did, but it wasn't total sales or whatever.
Yeah, it might have been like in 1 year or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I know that you know, fucking this whole thing between these two is like, it's petty at this point, dude. What are you mad about? They're letting you keep having Call of Duty games. It's not like they're holding it. They're going to make it exclusive. They never said they were going to make it exclusive. No. They just never said they weren't ever going to make it exclusive. And I think that's what PlayStation's afraid of. And now they're getting more support from the whatever that stupid. Those people don't seem to know jack shit. That's what's funny about it. This competition committee or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. It's some kind of like fair marketing something.
I mean, if that's the case, then companies like Naughty Dog, like you brought up earlier, would also fall into the same category, and that's not how it works.
Yeah, why specifically Activision Blizzard is the
one that gets under the fair market?
I mean, it's huge. I can't even tell you how many millions of copies of every single game that.
I mean, if they're going to go after any company for fair marketing, Nintendo is right there with the world's largest franchise in their monopoly. You know what the world's largest franchise is, right?
Probably Mario.
No, it's Pokemon.
Oh, God, that's even worse.
Yeah, it's actually Pokemon. It's the world's highest selling franchise. Although I will say it's not based on video games, it's based off of like
cards and shit.
No, t-shirts, plushies, stuff like that.
Lame shit.
Yeah, I think card games are it's like 10% of sales. Believe it or not, it's not that big. Video games are like 20, and I think the rest is all the other stuff. It's something like that. It's fucking ridiculous when you look at it. But yeah, the biggest selling, franchise is Pokemon, and they're going after Call of Duty, which I think is actually number 2 in gaming. So
I want to talk about one more topic before we do the wheel spin. The PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles, whatever you want to call it. The one major problem with them is their storage space. I've heard you bitch a lot about it. Oh, yes. I have to delete something in order to download something, or I have to move something in order to download something.
Yep, I hate it. It's
So
ridiculous.
the average AAA title is what, at least 100 gigabytes,
Mm-hmm.
and the Series S that I have had a 512 gigabytes whatever storage SSD or whatever.
I wouldn't say 100 gigabytes was average. I'm saying like 60.
I don't know. Well, okay, so your Call of Duty games are way like almost 150 or so.
I think
They're
Cold
huge.
War is like 70, or no, Cold War was like 90 something, and Vanguard was like 70 something in the end. So we'll say 80.
That's if you like, because what they incorporated was this thing where like you can
Delete the campaign.
delete the campaign, delete the zombies if you don't play them. But before that, like if you wanted the entire game, that shit is like 100 and something.
Okay, fine.
Easily, 150 or so.
We'll go with that then.
So either way, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't, like, I literally have 4 games on mine, and that's it. It's full.
Yeah, same.
Because okay, so even though it's 512, you got system stuff that takes up some of that space.
Yep, which is
So
fair.
when it's all said and done, you got like 400 to start.
In my opinion, when they tell you how much they're selling, like you're buying 512 gigabytes, you should get 512 gigabytes. Yeah,
system. Yeah.
That's my thought process. But maybe they're not allowed to market like that. You know, I'm not.
So I think in this situation, even though they both really suck for it, PS5 wins because at least you have options that aren't one specific thing.
Mm.
The only way to get more internal storage on an Xbox is you have to buy this thing that costs $230.
$230. I saw it on sale for $180.
Well, yeah, I saw it on sale for $199 as part of that.
It was at Walmart
Amazon
on sale
sale
for $180, I think, on their website. I was like, nope, still not going to buy it.
Whereas on PS5, all you have to do is get like, there's like a list of ones that are compatible. It has to be Gen 4, and it has to have what do you call the little heat sink or whatever. It has to have one of those with it, and it has to fit, and it has to be able to close. Like you can't get one that's too fat the system won't close back or whatever.
Shit,
so I think that's more of a win for PS5 in that case.
Yeah, and you could spend the $220 and that little interior storage thing for
it's only Xbox. 1 terabyte.
It's only 1 terabyte for $220.
So you can get a 1 terabyte
for the PlayStation for like
for about $120. No, not 80.
On sale, I mean, if we're looking at sales.
Maybe because it's Gen 4, I don't know. And they're really
100.
specific.
I'll say 100.
100 is good, but
yeah.
Either way, I've seen them anywhere between $100 and $150, which is about what I think that other little thing should cost for the Xbox. I don't understand why.
I can contest that gaming takes up a lot of storage.
Yep,
I've already almost filled up the 64 gigabyte, by the way.
Right, because that's 64 gigabytes. But so basically that was the only other topic I really wanted to discuss before getting into the
Actually, while we're talking about storage, the games on this PSP, they only take like 1-2 gigabytes at a time. It's absolutely I know why
the older games didn't take a lot. Yeah.
I know why they take up more storage nowadays.
Graphics and everything else.
And now they can actually do that with the disc and shit. Yeah. Back then they didn't have that kind of storage on the disc. Well, that they were selling to consumers. I'm sure they had that shit all along.
Oh, probably.
I'm sure they have like a 90 gigabyte fucking.
One thing I heard though, and I think this will change everything, is that they're about to go into where like the really huge SSDs with like 100 terabytes or whatever will be way more common. Good. Which means prices will go down.
Yeah.
No regular person probably needs that shit right now, but just imagine if that goes down, then the 1s and 2s and shit, like the stuff that we would want, or 4 even, will be a lot less.
There's only one type of person I can think of that would fill up that much space, and I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, But all I'm saying is Chris Hampson would be at their door.
Oh God. To catch a predator.
That should be
Chris
family
Hansen.
friendly enough for you. Because you always hear about how that stuff takes up so much storage.
I didn't know that, but sure.
I only know that from stuff like How to Catch
I
a
only
Predator.
know that from my friend on the internet. Wink,
I only
wink.
know that from doing it. Come on.
Just looking at you. All right.
Spin your wheel.
Spin my wheel first.
Yep. Fuck you.
So I get fucked. I got way more tiles, and there's probably a whole lot of roguelites on this shit.
I hope you don't get a roguelike. I hope you get something fun and enjoyable.
So do I, because it's more fucking entertaining that way.
Power Rangers. Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
I hope we both get Power Rangers.
I have no clue what that is. Why do I keep getting PlayStation games? I have
Honestly,
more
why
than
can't
I'm
you
fucking...
Fuck it. Spin again, man.
No, I'm not spinning again.
Spin again. I want you to get
nope.
an Xbox One.
No, that's fine.
No,
that's fair. Whatever this is, I'm playing it. Black Knight Sword, PS4. I'm totally playing that. Black Knight Sword. I'll have to look that shit up. All right, your turn. Say when.
Go ahead.
Please give him something he won't act like a bitch about getting. Mech Warrior 5.
Oh my God, what is Mech Warrior 5?
You're gonna be driving around in a mech taking out motherfuckers. That should be cool. I don't know.
Is it multiplayer?
I think so, actually. I venture to say that I think it is.
Oh, it's multiplayer and single player. Hey, you want to play with me?
I don't know. It depends on when you stream.
Probably. Oh God, dude! Not only did you get another PS4 game, it's from 2012.
God, I get the old ones too.
Why can't you get a modern day game, dude?
I don't know. I will eventually because I'll run out of old shit to play. Huh?
2019 is my game.
Yeah, I've heard of your game. I remember it's pretty recent enough anyway. So that's the we'll
We're gonna look up summaries.
Yeah, we'll look up the summaries real quick. Let me quit sharing my screen. All right.
Mech Warrior 5. Arm the reuse mercenary registry number to mask their origins. Commander Mason must rebuild his command to locate and defeat his enemies and avenge his father, as well as uncover the secrets his father took to the grave.
All right.
Well, your game's a side-scrolling game.
Black Knight Sword is a side-scrolling platform game co-developed by Grasshopper Manufacturer Digital Reality. What else do they got to say about it?
I would just look up the game name and summary right after it.
Yeah. The plot, the development, reception. So critics praise the game's art style. So that's good.
Maybe look at the pictures.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Oh, okay.
Looks kind of cool. I might dig this. I don't know.
It has its own pinball machine.
Huh?
Apparently has its own pinball machine.
Oh, really? How cool is that? Metacritic score of 66.
It's not bad.
It was a PS3 game, of course, because you can tell by the year that it came out.
Seriously, stop getting PS games, man.
I know, man. I literally still have more Xbox games than PlayStation games on my wheel, but it just keeps landing on PlayStation.
It came out on 360 too.
Yeah, I see that. So that'll be what we will be playing.
So
when will you probably Friday, huh?
It'll probably be Friday or Saturday. It depends on when we need to record. But yeah, probably Friday, Saturday, 8 or 9 EST at twitch.tv/MewWill. Stop by, have some fun.
And I'll be on probably maybe tomorrow, Tuesday. No, I'll probably wait till Wednesday just because this episode won't even air until tomorrow. So yeah, I'll make it Wednesday. So Wednesday around 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna try to play for a couple hours. And if I don't, if I enjoy it enough, I'll play again. I don't know if I'll stream it the next time, but maybe I'll end up beating it. Maybe it's a short game again.
Oh, we totally could have looked up that, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Anyways, if you made it,
mine's a side-scrolling platformer, it's probably not very long, which is a good thing.
if you made it this far into the podcast, make sure you leave a comment. Comment
anything. Comment about anything. Comment about how William wussed out on his damn.
Comment pink kitty headphones. That's how we'll know you made it to the end. As always, I've been Mew.
Mystery 8-Ball.
Thank y'all for watching.
Catch you next time.